did the Jacksonville Jaguars win the Super Bowl last year?
Oh, you're serious? No.
Will they ever win the Super Bowl?
Jason, I can't predict the future. But no, they won't.
Welcome everybody to Titans Tube. My name is Justin and this is Jake, and in this video we are going to be breaking down next week's matchup with your 1-0 Tennessee Titans taking on the 1-0 Jacksonville Jaguars as they come to Nashville to play in front of nobody in the stands. We'll see if that home field advantage makes a difference in this game. But Jake, how you doing? How are you feeling now about these 1-0 Tennessee Titans?
I'm feeling pretty good overall about this team. 1-0 feels a hell of a lot better than 0-1, especially, when
Amen.
you miss 4 kicks. So lucky to get out of Denver with that win. Moving on to week 2 with a familiar opponent in Jacksonville, without a doubt.
Yeah, Jacksonville last week taking down the Indianapolis Colts to take an early 1-0 lead in the division. And so this is going to be a big game. This will be to determine who gets an early season jump on the AFC South. Man, if Jacksonville wins this game, they're suddenly 2-0 in the AFC South. Like, 2020 couldn't get more dumb than that if it already wasn't dumb enough. Before we break down this game, let's briefly take a trip down memory lane to the last time these two teams played, and really the last 2 times these teams played, because last year was a weird thing in that Gardner Minshew played us in the first game, and then whenever Nick Foles got healthy, he was the starter for the second game, and that's when we blasted them right out of our stadium. But in that first matchup, that Thursday night game, I think we mentioned this in our recap of the Broncos briefly, and that was just as ugly of a loss as the Broncos game was last year when we were shut out 16-0. It was a 20-7 defeat in Jacksonville, week 3 into the season, and
Possibly
it didn't even feel that close.
The Mariota honeymoon finally wore off for me.
Yeah,
personally. It was a rough day overall.
Yeah, I think you're right. A lot of people were kind of jumping back on the Mariota train after the week 1 opening win against Cleveland. And then Indianapolis was a pretty big letdown, but not everyone was ready to jump ship. But then after this game, week 3 against Jacksonville, giving up 9 sacks in the game, just nothing was happening on offense. It was a slaughter fest. Just could not keep Mariota on his feet. But then, of course, fast forward to week 12 into the season, and then it was the Derrick Henry show runs all over Jacksonville and Nashville, which he has gotten into a habit of doing, and it's a much bigger pleasure to watch than that first game.
I look forward to it every year.
Yeah, so hopefully he can continue that trend. In that last matchup, Derrick Henry rushed for 200 yards. Am I reading that?
Yeah, a little
correctly?
over 200. They won by 22 points.
42-20, yeah.
Again, we faced a totally different-looking Jaguars team, a Nick Foles-led Jaguars team. And I think I alluded to this in our Denver recap, but we've yet to beat Gardner Minshew, and hopefully that's not a trend that picks up where Andrew Luck left off. So
no. If Andrew Luck retired,
I don't forecast it, but maybe Minshew will surprise retire in a couple years.
We might need that. If Andrew Luck retired and transferred all of his curse powers to Gardner Minshew to just have our number. I mean, we're just 0-1 against him. We're 0-1. Okay, let's not overreact to one game last year. Okay, Gardner Minshew. But I do want to give Gardner Minshew the proper respect. I was seriously doubting him to actually be the guy in Jacksonville last year. But he played well. Then he got benched for Nick Foles because you got to put in the healthy quarterback that you paid all that money to. Then he sucked, and then Minshew came back in and kind of picked up where he left off again. I think he struggled a little bit off and on, but he was pretty consistent. And then in week 1, 95% completion percentage and 3 touchdowns. Like, all right, if we're not afraid of this guy or are ready to keep tabs on him and ready to prepare for him to come out and play a good game, we need to be. We need to be ready for that. He's put enough tape on, or put enough play on film to kind of show that this guy can be a good player if you let him to be, and if you give him the right pieces to work with.
For sure. It's the classic Titans mantra of, they win games that they maybe shouldn't have any business in winning, and then you go into a game in a familiar foe like Jacksonville, where we've had their number for the past couple of years, and they'll walk in and it'll be a trap game in the AFC South. There's usually at least 2 every season. So
yeah.
I feel like Vrabel and the staff that they have in place won't let that happen as often as maybe a Malarkey led attack or even before then. But
that was definitely a trend with Malarkey, in that whenever we got to these divisional games that seemed winnable on paper, we just came out and laid an egg a lot of times. It happened mostly with the Colts, I think, and the Texans. It did happen against the Jags on New Year's Eve when they knocked us out of the playoffs and knocked Mariota's leg off his body. Well, they broke it. They didn't get it knocked completely off. But yeah,
might as well have.
But I think the Mike Vrabel Titans are definitely a better prepared team when coming into these big divisional matchups. So if you would indulge us, please, as we move forward in the breakdown of this game, we are going to start off with the Titans passing offense and how they fare against the Jacksonville defense, their pass defense. Tannehill had a pretty productive and efficient game in week 1, throwing for 249 yards and 2 touchdown passes, both of them to tight ends, Jonnu Smith and Michael Pruitt. Corey Davis, though, stepped up in a huge way. He showed us what he can do whenever you can try to game plan against A.J. Brown. You can game plan to shut down Derrick Henry, but we got weapons. We got Corey Davis, Adam Humphries making clutch catches in the slot.
3-headed monster at tight end, as you said.
Yeah.
You got weapons around him.
Even Anthony Ferguson, catching a clutch first down in that first game.
Hashtag first down.
Yeah. I hope that catches on. I love that. First down Titans. Hopefully we can see some of those in week 2. So yeah, we got a lot of weapons in this passing game, and they all contributed, really. Even Derrick Henry catching the ball out of the backfield. He had 3 catches somehow. That's got to be a career high for him in a game. I think he had like maybe 15 all of last year, maybe less than that.
Jacksonville defense, passing defense, that is. New look this year. They gave up 363 yards to Phillip Rivers last week and 1 touchdown, albeit that was on 46 attempts. You kind of knew with, Phil Rivers coming into town, they're going to let it fly week 1. So those numbers, while higher than, maybe what we saw from Tannehill, definitely more attempts and more of an air attack for Indy heading into this year. They nabbed 2 picks from Rivers. One classic Phil Rivers setup, late in the fourth quarter, throws the back-breaking pick. But those were gotten by Andrew Wingard and first-rounder C.J. Henderson, who's going to be playing a huge role in this defense. Rounding out the secondary, they also have DJ Hayden, Josh Jones, who's a second-round pick, and then Trey Herndon from Vanderbilt. So they're very new look. Yeah. Yep.
Nashville Trader.
But very new look compared to what we maybe know, of the Jalen Ramsey, AJ Bouye Jaguars. Bouye, who we faced last week and who was injured in that game. I don't know about this matchup overall, Justin. It's kind of a toss-up, and would you call it a push after just looking at the Week 1 games?
Yeah, they have some young talent on there, and they definitely showed what they can do. Picking off Rivers, coming up clutch there. I thought they played well.
Opportunistic, I think, is a good word. Watching the highlights back when Rivers would throw a duck up there, or who Mr. Titan Upload said Rivers would throw lollipops. Yeah,
throwing lollipops.
So they were very opportunistic on those lollipops for sure. So like I said, would you call it a push?
Yeah, we can call it a push. I think we're being a little kind, though, because I liked what I saw in the passing offense. But at the same time, if we can try not to be so biased for our Titans here, I think it would be kind of it is going to be kind of an even matchup, especially going against these young, talented, and opportunistic corners, like you said. All right, moving right along to the Titans' rushing offense versus the Jacksonville Jags' rush defense. And, I mean, the game's in Nashville. Derrick Henry's the running back. Just look at the past 2 games between these 2 teams in Nashville, and you'll see a bulldozer running full steam down the field. That is Derrick Henry. According to history, which should have nothing to do with this game, it would bode well for us if it did have something to do with this game. Last week, the Titans got 130 rushing yards on the ground, mostly from Henry with his 116. Also, Tannehill chipping in on a nice little bootleg on the first play of the season.
I loved it. I love to see it. I would like to see more of that going forward, quite frankly.
Yeah, he's got wheels. He's got wheels. And speaking of matchups in Nashville, I'm pretty sure it was that game where he took off and ran for like a 20-yard score.
Oh, my God, I thought his tailbone was toast.
Flipped over. Yeah, pretty good. He's got some pretty good wheels on Tannehill if you give him a lane. So yeah, we know what we're gonna do with Henry. I mean, we know the drill here. We're gonna give him the ball. So who are we gonna be running against this time? We're not gonna be running against Calais Campbell and Yannick Ngakoue, which is huge, you would think, because those were 2 of the better defensive linemen, not just on the Jaguars, but in the whole league. So with them no longer on the team, it's gonna be their second of their 2 first-round picks. Their first being C.J. Henderson, the cornerback. This one is going to be, you might have to help me out with this one, Jake.
K'Lavon Chaisson.
K'Lavon Chaisson. It rhymes. He's a defensive end out of LSU. Not sure exactly how well he played. I think he put up a tackle in the game against Indianapolis, but hey, he was drafted high. He's going to see some playing time. So that's a name to keep an eye out for. Also, Joe Sherbert at linebacker is a pretty solid linebacker there for him. I believe he came from Cleveland. And, of course, headlined by their star pass rusher, Josh Allen, who's also good against the run. We'll be seeing a lot of him. And also, Avery Jones, defensive tackle, is headed into his 8th season. Probably, I would assume, is the leader of that Jacksonville defense at this point. 8 seasons with the Jags. He's a steady presence there in the middle of the line for them. Hard guy to move out of the trenches. Looking at last week against the Colts, they only gave up 88 rushing yards and a touchdown to that Indianapolis backfield, which included Marlon Mack, who's now unfortunately hurt for the season, so that'll be a big blow for the Colts. Yeah. And they also faced Jonathan Taylor, that rookie out of Wisconsin, and also Nyheim Hines, who not only rushed for that touchdown, but he also received a touchdown out of the backfield. But overall,
looked pretty good.
Giving up 4 yards a carry and a touchdown against the Colts, and we know how good their offensive line is. That's not bad. That's not a bad first outing for the Jacksonville front 7. So yeah, and as for the Titans' offensive line, they should be looking to improve. I mean, yeah, Derrick Henry had over 100 yards, but a 3.7 yards per carry clip, and didn't break any long ones. His longest was, I believe, 13. I think the offensive line is going to be gunning to try to get a big one for Henry to come through here. But I mean, based on last year and the year before, and how Henry plays the Jags at home. And showing that this run game is still going to be good. I think Denver's going to end up having one of the better run defenses in the league. I mean, we can't not give Derrick Henry the rushing edge against the Jacksonville defense. I mean, it's
just a thing now, Yeah, Derrick
99
Henry
yards
versus the Jags defense. It's jeez, man.
Yeah, it's just determining how many tackles he's going to break. And I hope I'm not.
Several.
I hope I'm not cursing.
Several dozen.
Knock on wood. Hopefully it happens. But okay, yeah. Give us that advantage here.
Diving into the Jacksonville pass offense versus the Titans pass defense. Now, we said it earlier, we weren't big believers in Gardner Minshew coming into this year to lead this Jags team, but man, did he come out week 1 and kind of make a statement hey, we might not be tanking for Trevor Lawrence quite yet. You might still have somebody in Minshew here. He was 19 of 20 for 173 yards, but 3 touchdowns on top of that as well.
Crazy efficient.
So super, super efficient, 95% completion percentage, excuse me. And he really spread the ball around to a lot of their weapons on offense. Keenan Cole led their receivers with 5 catches and 47 yards and a touchdown. Chark, their second-year guy who was great with Minshew last year, also got a touchdown in this game. 10 total Jaguars caught a pass against Indianapolis. You look to, a veteran tight end like Tyler Eifert, and then they also have a rookie, Laviska Shenault. I believe that's correct. Laviska Shenault Jr. is another notable option in their passing game. So they, Minshew can get back there and sling it, and he can sling it to a bunch of different guys on the field. And will he repeat the 95% completion percentage? Probably not. But we do have kind of a depleted secondary coming into this one. Adoree Jackson's on IR, obviously. You have the safety duo of Byard and Vaccaro, obviously, and Fulton and Chris Jackson and Jonathan Joseph stepped up last game against Denver. But, you're looking at maybe a hotter quarterback in Minshew than Drew Luck, coming into this year. Or Drew Lock, excuse me. Andrew Luck on the brain. He's always Luck. There.
He's just
I can't escape him.
Seared into our brain.
They gave up 216 yards and the touchdown to Drew Lock last week. They played pretty well, tackled well after the catch, and if the trio of Fulton and Joseph and Chris Jackson can put together another decent performance, they could probably hold a candle and not have Gardner Minshew only incomplete one pass. That was a drop, I think I heard.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So, unfortunately, here we are again being nice to the Jacksonville Jaguars, because why would we be nice to the Jacksonville Jaguars? But I think we got to give them the advantage here just after this week one small sample size.
I kind of agree. We talked about how we have weapons ourselves where we spread the ball around. That's exactly what Jacksonville does too. Gardner Minshew is going to try to spread the ball around. Even their undrafted rookie running back, who I'm about to get to right now, caught a big pass out of the backfield for him. And with the Adoree Jackson injury, and with how hot Gardner Minshew is, playing wise, not his looks. I kind of caught myself, but then I just said it anyway.
Mustache, something about it.
The mustache.
Something about those handsome mustache men.
Maybe he's like Gideon from the Bible, and if we shave off his mustache, then he loses his football powers.
Oh, my good.
If
Davion Clowney's going to sack him and take a Gillette razor to his face. Lightly with the mustache. We don't want any physical harm.
Do we? Okay. We'll be nice.
Well, all right, we'll give the passing offense of the Jaguars the slight advantage here.
Moving right along here to the Jacksonville rush offense versus the Titans front seven run defense. James Robinson, who? What? Where'd you come from? Undrafted rookie out of Illinois State.
The Redbirds.
The Redbirds. Didn't know,
Did you know
that
one?
was their nickname. No, I would never.
You do now.
That. Is Illinois known for Redbirds? Is that a common thing?
I don't know. Ohio's got
just
Cardinals.
say Cardinals. Why can't you say Illinois State Cardinals? Why do you got to be
That's
all
not as fun.
We're the Redbirds, not Cardinals. It's different. I hate James Robinson is ultimately what I'm trying to get at. So James Robinson making a splash in his first NFL game. Undrafted. Did the Jags, how far in advance was this planned? When did they know that this was going to be their guy? I guess when Leonard Fournette got traded, so they were like, all right, I guess it's going to be this guy now. But
new look backfield here as well. Lot of new pieces in this Jaguars offense to be looking out for.
Yeah, and he had 90 all-purpose yards rushing and receiving in this game, and he looked pretty formidable with the ball in his hands. So he's definitely going to be a guy that we're going to have to account for in this Jags rushing attack. He's coming in and already taking the bulk of the load. Their backup is Chris Thompson from Washington. He didn't get any carries in that game. We'll see if he's involved at all in this Jacksonville backfield, but it's mostly going to be about James Robinson. So he's going to go up against Clowney. Evans is going to return from his punching incident. Jayon Brown, and of course, Big Jeff and the boys up front. How effective can they be against our rush defense? Last week in Denver, we did give up 107 rushing yards to the Broncos, most all that going to Melvin Gordon, who had 78, I believe, at 5.2 yards per carry. We did force a fumble against him, which was the only turnover of the game, which was a huge play. But besides that, he was pretty effective against the Titans' front seven. So hopefully that improves next week.
I do just got to interject and say I think Rashaan Evans was a huge factor in allowing Melvin Gordon to get that 5 yards a carry. If he could not punch somebody, I think the Titans' rush defense would have fared a little better last week. And would you say that with
I think so
Rashaan
too.
Evans playing in the game in this Jacksonville matchup, you'd give the edge to the Titans' rush D?
Yeah, I think that does turn the tide back into favor. I think he's that important of a player against the run with this Titans defense. And I think they're going to get better, just collectively as a whole. Because I'm expecting our rush defense to be pretty stout this year with the pieces we have in play now. So we were nice to the Jags. Let's be nice back to the Titans again. I think we do get this advantage in this matchup.
All right, hopping into special teams here.
Oh, do we have to? Do we have to?
Geez,
Oh, no.
So, jeez. Josh
not
Lambo kicking for the Jags. Again, another familiar face. He's been pretty good for them overall over the years. And they have a punter named Logan Cook. Don't know much about him, but he's not Brett Kern, so that's But, with the beating that the Titans special teams took with Gostkowski last week, I think we just have to give ourselves the automatic loss in this category until we can make a field goal on a consistent basis.
It's not that Jacksonville wins this category. It's that we definitely
The Titans
lose this category
yeah,
regardless.
Correct.
Because of the atrocity of our field goal kicking. So that's yet another check for the Jags. How did this happen? Did we do this correctly? So we have, I think, 2 for us, 2 for them, and then a push. Was that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I would
it's
not
a matter
have
of
guessed this in the off season. But I guess based on what happened last week, I'm kind of curious to see how Jacksonville plays against us this week.
Yeah, it could be through the lens of, is Indy not what we thought they were coming into the year? Is Jacksonville better than what we thought them coming into the year? Being, we thought they were full tank and they come out and beat, some people's dark horse Super Bowl pick. So
they
who
had
knows
players.
what it'll be going into week 2.
They had players leaving the team and making comments, throwing shade at Jacksonville, like talking about the culture and I'm so happy to be out of there, and it's like, man, things are bad in Jacksonville. And then they're winning games with these undrafted rookies from Illinois State and going. No, they played the Redbirds. They played Indianapolis at home. I was about to say they played them in Indy, but still picking up a win week 1. It's like, okay, they're not just folding at all. So credit to them. Credit to them for doing that.
For sure.
Finally wrapping it up here, Jake and I are going to give our biggest key or keys to the game and a score prediction. I'll go ahead and go first. I believe in a thing called love. I think the key to this game is
love.
Is love. We just should kill them with kindness, kill them with love. No, we should never show love to the Jacksonville franchise or fan base. I mean, we're rivals. We're natural enemies. It's a healthy hatred, if such a thing exists. I think the key to the game, though, is we gotta rattle around Gardner Minshew. We can't let him, continue to play with this confidence and this swagger. We got to get pressure on him. We got to get consistent pressure on him. Not let him get comfortable back there. And not let him run around and use his escapability, his athleticism to get out of the pocket and make plays on the run, causing our defensive backs to cover for extra time. I think that's going to be the key. I'm really looking forward to Harold Landry, looking at you, Jadeveon Clowney. Let's get your first sack as a Titan. Obviously, Jeff Simmons, Jeffrey, get back there and cause some mayhem to the stash man. And I think if we do that, we're going to pull out this win. I'm going to predict 23-17. I think it's still going to be a close game. Yeah.
That's fair enough. I like what you said. I like your key to the game of rattling around Gardner Minshew. Yeah, we didn't get home to Drew Lock last week at all. No sacks in that game against Denver, and I would like to see Jadeveon Clowney get his first sack as well. I'm going to go kind of hand in hand with that, and it's what won us the Denver game, and it's hopefully what's going to win us lots of games this year, and it's going to be the turnover battle. Is if we can get to Minshew and get him a little rattled, he's prone to make mistakes, as we saw last year in some of the games. And, yeah, he has flashes of great, but he also has flashes of, looking like I think he's a sixth round pick.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's if we win the turnover battle and get Derrick Henry going a little more with big chunk runs, I think winning the trench battle on the offensive line and such, getting Henry rolling, turnover battle wins us this game by a score of. You know what? I'm going to go a little higher. I have more faith in the Titans offense to put it together. Titans 31, Jacksonville 20.
Hey, and we got to mention this. I predicted Titans 23. You said 31. I don't know how we're going to get there without kicking field goals or at least a few extra points
good
through.
Point.
So
good point. You know what? I'm amending it. We're going for 2 each time. We'll have 24, 24-20 by going for 2 each touchdown.
24-20. So we get 3 touchdowns and 3 2-point conversions.
Correct.
Okay, I got you. I like it.
Gostkowski does not swing his leg other than a kickoff.
Boom. That's it. So we don't cut him, but we also don't allow him to kick any field goals. That's a.
Just give him a game to think about what he's done.
It's like his timeout. Yeah. Go sit on the bench and don't come back out until it's time for us to kick off. Go think about what you did. So that's it. That's our keys and keys to this game and our score predictions and how we see this matchup playing out. Do you agree with us? Do you not? Do you think we clearly hold more advantages over the Jags, who seemingly should have been tanking, but maybe not?
Did not expect to be this nice to the Jaguars at all.
Yeah. We're about to get a lot of hate in the comments, aren't we? That's
Probably,
okay.
But that's, whatever.
Yeah, hey, go make your own YouTube channel and talk about the Titans then, huh? Man, I shouldn't push away our viewers or subscribers. That's a bad strategy for our channel. Sorry about that.
Oh, man. All good.
All right, guys. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, too. We tweet every so often. Jake, you have any final words before we close out?
Other than tighten up and beat Jacksonville, and we mentioned it in the recap. Big Jeff said it best on Twitter. The best part about being 1-0 is the chance to go 2-0, and if we can start stacking these wins, especially stacking division wins, it could be a special season moving forward. So hopefully we can keep it rolling.
Yeah. And real quick, too, this is going to be a big game because up next after this we have to face the Vikings and the Steelers and the Bills, which are going to present a big challenge. So we need to get this one, which appears it should be a winnable game because Jacksonville I don't think is as formidable as those other teams coming up, too. So we need to get these wins while we can. So let's try to get to that 2-0 mark on Sunday.
All right. Tighten up.
Tighten up, y'all. Peace.
Also, I was going to take this one.
What? Oh my goodness, I did it again.
You're good, dude. All good.
I can't believe I did that again. Yeah.
No sweat.
But all right. All right, I messed up. All right, we're going to start that one again.
You're good, man.
Some more time. F. Let me start it again. Here we go. Take
You're
18.
I'm going to be going over here the Jags. Shit.
You said the abbreviation. Very
Jax.
Professional of you.
Yeah. I'm Ron Burgundy.
Dude, all right, screw this. I'm going to start this all over again.